Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to reflect on a journey each of us is already traveling, whether we recognize it or not. It is the journey along what we call the maturity continuum, the movement from dependence to independence, and ultimately to interdependence. This progression is not automatic. It is not guaranteed by age, positions, or achievements. It is a choice, a deliberate process of growth rooted in character, vision, and responsibility. The journey of human growth can be best understood as a progression along what is called the maturity continuum, a path that moves from dependence to independence and ultimately to interdependence. This continuum reflects not just emotional development, but the evolution of our character, mindset, and the way we relate to the world around us. Dependence is where every person begins, both in childhood and often in early emotional stages of adulthood. In this phase, our sense of security, decision-making, and validation comes from outside sources. We rely on others to guide us, support us, motivate us, and sometimes even define us. Here, the mindset revolves around expecting solutions to come from beyond the self, believing that circumstances must change before personal change can occur. It is a state where control is surrendered, often unintentionally, to external influences. As individuals grow, either through experience, reflection, or deliberate effort, they begin to step into independence. Independence represents a shift from external control to internal control, from reaction to choice. This stage is marked by the understanding that one's life is shaped by personal decisions rather than external forces. The inner voice changes from, "Someone must do this for me," "I am responsible for my choices and outcomes." Independence is characterized by taking initiative, setting personal goals, developing self-discipline, and cultivating the ability to act based on principles instead of impulses or circumstances. It is the stage where a person realizes that they have the agency to alter their own path, and with that realization comes a sense of empowerment and clarity. Independence allows a person to stand firmly on the foundation of personal responsibility and self-respect. However, independence, even at its highest form, is not the final point of the continuum. While it allows personal strength, stability, and direction, it is inherently limited when it comes to achieving deeper fulfillment and greater impact. This realization leads to the final stage of the maturity continuum, interdependence. Interdependence acknowledges that human beings are not isolated entities, but part of a larger social, professional, and emotional ecosystem. It is an advanced level of maturity, where individuals who are already strong on their own choose to collaborate, connect, and build relationships that create greater outcomes than any single individual could produce. Interdependence is not dependency in disguise. It is a conscious recognition that combining talents, perspectives, and strengths leads to synergy, innovation, and growth at a scale impossible to reach alone. The movement from dependence to interdependence is not a forced transition, but a gradual unfolding of awareness and capability. Each stage builds upon the previous one and cannot be skipped or artificially accelerated. Dependence is natural, independence is earned, and interdependence is chosen. The continuum represents a lifelong process because every new challenge, relationship, or responsibility can push a person back to earlier stages or require them to grow into higher ones. Understanding this continuum provides clarity and direction, reminding us that maturity is not merely a trait, but an evolving journey shaped by choices, experiences, and the courage to grow. Dependence is the earliest and most basic stage of human maturity, a phase in which an individual relies heavily on others for direction, support, validation, and decision-making. In this state, a person's sense of control is largely external. Circumstances, people, and environments are seen as the determining forces behind outcomes. The mindset of dependence is built on the belief that I need someone else to make things happen for me, or cannot act until someone guides, helps, or approves. This perspective often develops naturally in childhood when caregivers are responsible for meeting needs, but it can linger far beyond those early years if personal growth does not occur. Even adults may find themselves stuck in patterns of dependence, expecting others to provide solutions, bear responsibility, or take initiative in situations that require their own involvement. In dependence, blame becomes a common language. A dependent mindset attributes failures to external factors and waits for external changes before attempting personal improvement. When things go wrong, a dependent person might say, "They didn't support me," or "Someone else prevented my success." This way of thinking removes agency and creates a passive relationship with life, where one becomes a reactor rather than an actor. People in this stage often look for rescuers, someone to fix their problems, someone to motivate them, someone to carry emotional or practical burdens they do not yet feel capable of managing. Relationships in this stage tend to be unbalanced, where the dependent individual seeks to receive more than they contribute, and expectations are placed unfairly on others. Dependence also limits potential because it restricts the development of personal skills, emotional strength, and the confidence needed for growth. When responsibility is not exercised, it weakens like an unused muscle. A person becomes accustomed to leaning on others instead of building their own capacity. This stunts personal progress, making it difficult to navigate challenges or make decisions without reassurance. It creates a cycle: the less responsibility one practices, the more incapable one feels, and the more reliant one becomes. This cycle can continue indefinitely unless broken by conscious effort. The dependent mindset affects not only personal growth, but also relationships. It can lead to frustration, disappointment, or conflict because no individual or system can continuously meet the expectations of someone who has not learned to meet their own needs. Dependence often creates emotional instability. When external support is available, a person may feel secure, but when it is withdrawn or inconsistent, they feel anxious, helpless, or overwhelmed. This emotional fluctuation is rooted in the belief that stability comes from others rather than from within. Recognizing dependence is not about judgment, but about awareness. Every person begins here, and everyone revisits this stage in different areas of life. One may be independent professionally, but dependent emotionally, or independent socially, but dependent financially. Dependence is a natural starting point, but it becomes limiting when it persists unchecked. The key to progressing beyond it lies in acknowledging one's own capacity to choose, act, and grow, and in understanding that responsibility cannot be outsourced indefinitely. Independence represents a powerful shift in human development, marking the moment a person realizes that they are the primary creators of their own choices, actions, and results. In this stage, the center of control moves from outside forces to the individual's own principles, decisions, and efforts. Independence is built on the understanding that one's life is not defined by circumstances or other people's opinions, but by internal direction and self-governance. It is a stage where the inner voice transforms from "someone else must do this for me" to "I am capable, I am responsible, and I can take charge of my path." This shift does not happen overnight. It emerges through experiences, reflections, failures, and deliberate commitment to personal growth. In independence, a person begins to develop a strong sense of identity and clarity about their values. They learn to set goals based on what matters to them rather than what others expect. Independence demands self-discipline, because making choices aligned with long-term purpose often means resisting short-term impulses or external pressures. It requires honesty with oneself, the willingness to confront weaknesses, and the courage to act even when the path is uncertain. Independent individuals cultivate habits that strengthen their character. They plan their time, manage their emotions, build skills, and stay committed to their responsibilities. They no longer see themselves as victims of circumstance, but as active participants in shaping the future. Another hallmark of independence is the ability to make decisions without needing constant approval or reassurance. Independent individuals trust their judgment, assess situations objectively, and take initiative when opportunities or challenges arise. They become accountable for their successes and failures, learning from every outcome without shifting blame. This accountability deepens their sense of confidence, because they begin to see that their efforts, not external conditions, determine progress. Independence also nurtures resilience, as the individual learns to face setbacks with the mindset of growth rather than defeat. Independence enhances relationships as well. When a person no longer relies excessively on others for emotional or practical support, they interact from a position of strength rather than need. They respect boundaries, communicate more clearly, and contribute meaningfully. Independence brings stability because the person develops the capacity to manage their own needs rather than expecting others to constantly fill gaps. This balance allows relationships to become more mutual rather than one-sided, strengthening trust and respect. Even though independence is a significant milestone, it is not a rejection of others but a preparation for deeper collaboration. Once individuals are capable on their own, they become better equipped to work with others in productive and meaningful ways. Independence lays the foundation for higher levels of maturity by ensuring that a person can stand firmly, think clearly, and act deliberately without being driven by dependency or insecurity. It allows individuals to be responsible partners, teammates, and leaders because they bring stability, clarity, and initiative wherever they go. Interdependence represents the highest level of personal and relational maturity, where individuals who have already developed independence choose to work together to create results far greater than what any one person could achieve alone. It is not a return to dependence but a conscious and empowered collaboration rooted in mutual respect, shared purpose, and complementary strengths. In this stage, people recognize that while they are capable on their own, they become significantly more effective, creative, and impactful when they combine their insights, talents, and efforts with others. Interdependence is built on the belief that we can do it, transcends the limitations of I can do it, not by diminishing individual capability, but by elevating what becomes possible when individuals unite with intention. A central feature of interdependence is synergy, the idea that the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Synergy does not occur by accident. It requires open communication, trust, and a willingness to understand others deeply. People operating at an interdependent level seek to see situations from multiple perspectives, not just their own. They value differences rather than resist them, recognizing that diversity in viewpoints, experiences, and strengths leads to solutions and innovations that no single person could generate. Instead of competing or controlling, interdependent individuals cooperate, listen actively, and aim for win-win outcomes. They know that their success does not require someone else's failure, and this mindset allows relationships and teams to grow stronger and more productive. Interdependence also requires emotional maturity. Independent individuals may be strong on their own, but interdependent individuals know how to balance self-confidence with humility. They can admit when they don't know something, ask for help without feeling weak, and offer support without feeling superior. This emotional balance strengthens trust within teams, families, and partnerships. When people feel safe to express ideas honestly, challenge one another respectfully, and work through differences constructively, the environment becomes fertile ground for creativity and progress. Trust becomes the foundation on which collaboration thrives. In an interdependent mindset, responsibility is shared but not diluted. Each person brings their strengths while acknowledging their limitations. They take ownership of their contributions while also supporting the collective goal. Interdependence emphasizes shared vision and shared accountability, allowing groups to move in harmony rather than in fragmented directions. This alignment is essential for effective teamwork, whether in workplaces, communities, or personal relationships. It transforms ordinary cooperation into meaningful partnership. Interdependence also enhances personal growth because working with others exposes individuals to new ideas, challenges their assumptions, and pushes them to grow beyond their comfort zones. In interdependent relationships, people inspire one another to improve, offering both encouragement and constructive feedback. They celebrate collective achievements and learn from collective setbacks, creating a cycle of continuous improvement. Interdependence is not just about working together, it is about valuing the strength of connection and recognizing that human potential is amplified when individuals unite their capabilities and intentions. True maturity is not a singular accomplishment, but an ongoing commitment to daily growth, where every choice and interaction becomes part of a larger journey toward becoming a more capable, responsible, and connected human being. The idea that maturity is a daily decision emphasizes that growth does not happen passively or automatically. It requires awareness, intention, and steady effort. Each day presents situations that can pull a person back toward dependence, challenge their independence, or invite them into interdependence. The direction one moves depends largely on the choices made in moments of discomfort, conflict, responsibility, and opportunity. This continual movement reinforces that maturity is a living process rather than a fixed state. Daily growth begins with self-awareness. A mature individual pays attention to their reactions, motivations, habits, and patterns. They reflect on how their behavior affects others and how their decisions align with their principles. They understand that progress is made through consistent small choices rather than dramatic occasional efforts. Each day offers chances to choose patience over impulse, responsibility over excuses, initiative over avoidance, and understanding over judgment. These choices accumulate, shaping character and strengthening the ability to handle challenges with clarity and steadiness. Meaningful collaboration is also a daily choice. Even when one is independent, it takes conscious effort to choose cooperation over isolation, empathy over assumption, and communication over silence. Maturity requires recognizing that interactions with others are opportunities to build trust, foster understanding, and create mutual respect. Whether in personal relationships, professional settings, or social environments, choosing to listen deeply, speak honestly, and act with integrity transforms everyday encounters into spaces for growth. Collaboration involves seeing others as partners rather than obstacles, valuing their input, and being willing to contribute without seeking control. This mindset strengthens relationships and builds environments where people can thrive together. Maturity also involves discipline in managing one's emotions and responses. Every day brings frustrations, misunderstandings, and unexpected difficulties. Mature individuals do not allow these situations to dictate their behavior. Instead, they pause, think, and choose responses that align with their values. They understand that emotional control is not suppression but thoughtful direction. This emotional discipline helps maintain stability and trust in relationships and reinforces a sense of personal confidence and resilience. Growth requires humility as well. A mature mindset acknowledges that there is always more to learn, more to refine, and more to understand. Humility opens the door to feedback, new perspectives, and personal transformation. It allows individuals to admit mistakes without shame, learn from them, and move forward with greater wisdom. Humility also strengthens collaboration because it removes barriers created by ego and invites genuine connection. Each day also offers opportunities to practice gratitude, kindness, patience, and fairness, qualities that deepen maturity and enrich relationships. Through these daily decisions, maturity becomes not just a concept but a lived experience, shaping who a person is and how they contribute to the world around them. The journey from dependence to independence, and finally to interdependence, reflects the unfolding of human potential and the deepening of character. Each stage prepares us for the next, guiding us toward a life where responsibility, purpose, and meaningful connection shape our actions. When we choose daily growth, we strengthen the foundations of who we are and elevate the way we engage with the world. The highest form of maturity is not achieved in isolation, but in the ability to work, grow, and succeed together. This path is open to anyone willing to act with awareness, courage, and commitment to becoming better each day. Kindly follow this channel and subscribe for more educational content.